Today we're going to be talking about calendaring and adding calendaring in. William, who presented uh, last month, is presenting this month. So without further ado, William, take it away.
Okay. So you guys asked me to do a little bit on calendaring because of a calendar that I kind of showed off that I've had built for a while. And yeah, some of what we're doing is kind of fun today because it's real FileMaker centric. Well, we'll cover a bit of the calendaring subject. This file, which we're going to be showing, is downloadable at the end. It has some nice things to study. If you're looking for some deep FileMaker work or some fun FileMaker work. There is a few things here that involve math, so fair warning, it's a little concern, it can be a little daunting for people, but that being said, it's really not that. I've done a lot of it for everyone. So calendaring within FileMaker has been around for quite a while. There are lots of different versions, and it's gotten a lot more sophisticated in the past 7 years than it has than what I remember. It's a useful tool for a lot of different things. Your date management, your event management, your resource management. If you're integrating with other external resources, you might want to be able to contribute through your application directly to other people's calendars and other places, and maybe you want their contributions and their calendars to replicate within your application. That's something that's been done quite widely throughout the industry. It's gotten a bit farther along. It used to be difficult to add calendars into systems. And now we've got an add-on that ships with FileMaker that gives you straight up calendaring out of the box. It's not too difficult to implement if you know what you're doing. And it has some good features, but it'll get you going until you need to do something more. And that's a good thing. We'll take a look at that today, as well as some other stuff. So again, this is more FileMaker centric stuff. We're not going to do a lot of digging into integration and whatnot, because that's those are hard things for some people. This file is meant to be downloadable, so we're going to talk about what it has to offer and what it can do. Depending upon your level of development, maybe you like this, maybe you don't. So I think we'll just kind of head over to what we got now. I said there's a calendar out of the box. This little file is set up to basically with a lot of fake data. I've got a resource here where I can go out and pull in a bunch of random data, fairly easy. It's a click of a button. I can set parameters and whatnot, and it gives me fresh stuff to work with every single time. It gives me some semblance of a real database with real purpose, so that I can do some serious testing if I want to see what's going on, or I can see real data. So this is currently the add-on that's available within FileMaker. It's a drag and drop feature, and it's not terribly difficult to implement. If you've done it once or twice, it's pretty straightforward. It has some nice features, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. These days, I think this is probably our go-to for our calendaring needs for a lot of things. It's not too difficult to implement it further into other resources. It's time, and time is always money. So there's one resource. The other one that we wanted to show off was just this thing that I built. And this is the way that we used to do it before we had some of the really cool features. This is a completely FileMaker native calendar. It's fully stretchy and implemented. And some people go kind of, ooh, that's kind of cool. How the hell do we do that? And it's not particularly hard. I plan on talking a little bit about what it does. It's kind of a fallback plan for other things when it needs to be, in a pinch, I can drag this out and drop it in and push information into it. There's a lot of subtleties here to look at. Since I've got to drag it, since I've got something that can resize based upon need, I also have names that resize based upon what's going on. I got a few other elements, and to draw some comparison, and you get to play with this later. If I click on something, it brings up information. If I click on an empty space, it brings up a new one. And you know, why not have a FileMaker calendar or a FileMaker only calendar that pretty much does the same thing? Brings up a new dialog for a new record, or you know, if you have an existing record, it comes up with the same thing. I like being able to set the color, so I've got a little thing there that does that. Maybe I want make this green or something. So we'll set that. We'll have it update. Some of the nice features about this, the ability to set colors. And this is kind of why we do it out of FileMaker, because we got a lot of control over how we do things, a lot more than some other features. It's not just drag and drop implementation. It's really kind of get down to it and let's decide what we want to do. Oh, I updated. Now it's no longer Sunday. Now I'm actually doing it on Monday. Let's change it back because I'm gonna get lost if I do it any other ways. Let's see. I don't know what else to talk about. There's lots of little things here. If I go into layout mode, it's basically just one portal. And to get the column effect, we actually stretch a repeating field across the span. And we use math again to bring those repeating fields, bring information to those repeating fields. This calendar is not particularly complicated. It doesn't require an awful lot of elements to actually bring it together. It does require some knowledge. For example, this table is based upon, or this layout is based upon a table that just has a couple of fields in it. And if you're looking for where the rows are, here's a place. Here's where I drag all the rows of information. In this case, we only have a month view. And I drag that information out of what is essentially two JSON objects that I create. One JSON object dictates the structure or the schema of the file or the calendar, and the other JSON contains all of the data. And as these fields display for each column, it drags that information together, defining what each cell does and the information that it has, as well as the color of the background and various other things. And yeah, I've tried to add as much color as I possibly can to this to make it a little more fun. But I wanted something that looked like a real calendar. But if you're going to start out building a calendar, first thing I'm going to suggest is trying the add-on. It's probably the most complete way of going about stuff. But if you want to study FileMaker, try going native.
What's the process of adding the add-on into a FileMaker solution?
Process of adding an add-on is, let's switch over to it. The process of adding an add-on is go into layout mode, find this button over here, brings up this object pane. You got these three subtopics along the top here, and this one is add-ons. Now I've already added the calendar here, but if that wasn't, I'd go down to this little plus box down at the bottom and I'd click on that. And there's a whole bunch of add-ons that you can add to your solution. This is just full of stuff that you can play with. A Kanban that works really well, you know, some charting, some built-in timing stuff, a heat map. Let's see, where's the calendar? The calendar, where's that calendar? Oh no, I've already installed it, so it's not on the list. But you would find it right here. And it is a JavaScript calendar, so it'll be in that subject. And once you've selected that, it will appear here, and it's a matter of creating a new layout, dragging it on here, and it's essentially fully implemented. It includes a lot of features that install themselves right off the bat, including layouts and scriptings and value lists that are there to get you going. And then it's just a matter of hooking up to your data. And that's not particularly difficult. In this case, it creates a in this case, if you use this calendar add-on, it will create a new layout. And that new layout will be events display. And this is kind of a sample or a demo way to do it. But what you do is you take this layout and you duplicate it. You take this layout, you duplicate it, you assign it the layout or the table that you want to pull information from. And then you begin adjusting the fields. And it's important that the fields be on here. So as you define your fields, as you change all of this, your calendar suddenly starts to function. Let's do a couple of these and just go through the whole thing, because I can take you to the next step. That once you have this event set up, date start. Make sure I'm doing this right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to yell out. I'm doing it wrong if I'm doing it wrong. Sometimes I need the pointer because I can't always see it. Time end. Let's make sure we get the all day and whatnot. All day. Editable. Editable description. I think I got a description. If not, I'm going to have to borrow something from something else. Do you think I have a style here? Yeah, I got a style here. So there's everything there. I got my UUID. I've changed this layout and all of its fields to the data source that I want to use, the actual the appointments layout. And I'm essentially done. When I go back to the calendar add-on, the add-on plugin, next thing I have to do is I have to click on this little gear. And this gear comes up with a setup sheet. And from this setup sheet, I will select the layout that I have revised. In this case, it would be event copy, which I've already done here under events display, event display appointments. And when I select that, it will list all of the fields that are available for that layout. And then you just decide what you want. It's actually fairly selective. Date start, date end. It actually gives me just a list of date fields. It gives me just a list of time fields, just for that purpose. There's a small side note. It only draws from the fields on the layout. And if you don't have the right fields or they're not the right type, they won't show up on the list. And what's important is that you have to have a start date and an end date, or a start time and an end time, in order for this to work correctly. It figures that you're always going to have that. So even if it's the same start, the end date is the same as the start date, that's fine. It's got a few other features in there, as well as the ability to set styles randomly. And I've taken advantage of that as well. There's tool tips. There's lots of nice features in here that one can utilize to further leverage what's available. And it makes a nice calendar, and it's got the ability to, if it's available, if you've enabled it, you've got the ability to drag and drop stuff. Looks like I haven't enabled it in this case. You've got the ability to create stuff, to drag and drop stuff. Oh, look, I'm creating them as I go along. Let's put one here. Okay, good. Close that, and I got a new one. It's got nothing on it, but it's really easy. And it's probably one of the best performing. I've seen this plugin calendar do some interesting stuff, especially when it fills up with dates in a given cell. It goes kind of nuts and pushes everything down. But that's usually not much of a problem. There's also, I guess, a day view. If I click on like one of these, if I click on a day view, oh yeah, all day events. Some of them are all day events. Let's go with the week view. That's a little easier to consume after the mess I've made, obviously. So this is a nice way to do things. We used to have to make all of this all the time. I see questions.
Yeah, Faylene was saying she missed the beginning. Whose plugin product is this? And I believe it's just FileMaker, right? It comes with theme.
Yeah, we're staying very FileMaker centric today. We're also going through the add-on calendar that ships with FileMaker by default, and showing how it's installed. I've also got an example of a native FileMaker calendar, the type that we used quite heavily before plugins or add-ons were a thing. What's that?
Let me ask you a quick question. So this calendar thing has been something that FileMaker developers have been duking out forever, and I know that there's some folks. I want to say it's like Seed Code or one of those other guys years ago developed a whole calendar thing that you could attach to FileMaker, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So now with this add-on, I've developed my solution. I have a calendar in it. It's awesome. I'm assuming with APIs and things like that, I could push some of this information to Google, or I could push it to Outlook, or whatever the story is.
Yeah.
But if I'm using the FileMaker native add-on and I created an application with this, what do I need to do? Or is that add-on now part of the file so that if I host it, nobody has to do anything to use it? It's already there?
Yeah.
Or does each individual user have to do something?
By add-on or plugin? I mean, I'm sorry. This add-on that I've added, it seems to be fully network friendly. It's integrated directly into FileMaker, and it takes full advantage of FileMaker's features, even in a network context. So multi-user.
I put this in as an add-on. I host it, and poof, it's there for everybody now. Other folks.
Yeah.
Because I guess I'm stuck kind of in the mentality of a plugin where, if you put it together with a plugin, now everybody has to download that plugin, install it, and
update it.
Yeah.
And update it and change, and especially like Google and Outlook, whose authentication model has changed substantially over the past few years. It used to be plugins to get access to that stuff. Now everybody is writing their own curl and whatnot, and even that gets to change every now and then. It's an interesting landscape, and it continues to evolve.
Yeah,
let's go over this add-on thing again.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm gonna cover the add-on thing again, because this is really fun. I mean, this is FileMaker's this rapid application development environment, meant to be easy to approach. So let's show that again. So I'm gonna clean a few things up. I'm basically going to install this add-on. Let's hide this again so I can go through this whole thing. Adjust the window. I'm gonna go back into layout mode. Oh, nope, I made it too small. That's my fault. Let me get back to where I was. Oh, did it close? All right, I'm coming right back. I know I closed. It's because I told the layout to close the window. Oh, I'm stuck in a loop. Gimme. Can't get out of it. Well, I was attempting to do a demo there. Let's start it again. Wonders of miracles of technology. Come on, what do I want?
The demo gods are slapping you around.
That's usually what happens. I'm getting better at dealing with it. I'm rolling with the punches, the slaps. Seriously, why can't I open this? Task Manager to the rescue. We do not negotiate with software. Come on, give me what I want. So disappointing. Goodbye. Thank you. Let's try this again. Oh, look, it comes right back now. Do you see that?
Ba-ba-da-ba. Sure do.
So back to calendar. Let's go ahead and do that. No, not that. Do this. I wanted a smaller window to make it easier for people to see. Okay, so that's our catalog. So here, I'm going to install this from fresh and see if I can do this right without closing a window now. We're just going to make a new layout. I need this layout to be really kind of based on let's see what it, I just need it to be based upon, let's make it based upon blank, because it really doesn't matter. Essentially a blank table. So there is the objects pane up here at the top. If I click on that, it brings up this pane. I got 3 topics along the top. When it comes to add-ons, you'll go to the bottom. You'll click this little plus sign. You will find it in this list. In this case, I've already installed it, so it has removed itself from this list. You will find it in this list, you will select it, and then just click choose, and it will add itself. Let's add a Kanban, why not? Now, I probably can't hook this Kanban up, but it gives us an example of how the add-on is actually pushed into the system. Now that calendar is there, it's ready to go. All I have to do to make this calendar useful is drag it onto the layout. It's essentially installed. Now this calendar, when you install it, it installs a few things too. It installs an entire set of layouts as well as scripting and list views to go with it. I'm sorry, value list. Everything you need to basically get going. The one thing that you need to pay attention to is once you've got it installed is this layout here, event display. This layout, or this particular layout, must be tied to your data source of events that you intend to display on the calendar. In this case, it's tied to a sample table that comes in with the add-on calendar. And all you need to do is take it and duplicate the layout and then tie it to the actual data source or the actual layout that you want to pull data from. In this case, I have a data table called appointment, where all my appointments are kept. And all I have to do now is simply change all of my fields to be fields from the appointment table. So little by little, it starts taking shape. Date start, date end, time start, time end. All the all day features. Oh, selected the wrong one. Got to do it right. All day, editable. This is something I still mess up from time to time. I'll select one of the wrong fields, or I'll duplicate. I think the other day I had time end twice on here, and it kept throwing me off. I couldn't find time start. What's going on? What did I do wrong? I just had to come back to this layout and select what was important. But once I've got these fields on this layout, it's pointing to the right table. Now it's pointing to the right fields. I'm essentially done. I go back to my calendar layout. This is effectively working. All I should need to be able to do is pull it up and select the fields that I'm going to be using. In this case, I need to point to the new layout that I put together. I need to select important fields from the layout. Title, we got date start. Look how it kind of selects the only date fields that and the only time fields that the layout has. I think they actually came around in 17, albeit they've been getting better. It is a model that continues to change. So for those interested in the recording later, that essentially is the setup of the calendar add-on. I should only need to refresh it, see if it pulls information in. Do I have everything there? See. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether or not I actually have all the records available. Yeah, they're there. I've added a few cents too. So I go back to this one. There you are. So I've installed it fresh and connected everything together. And then it's just a matter of taking the pieces apart and pushing them into where they need to be. Let's make this shorter and use some and use some of the tools here. Let's make these the right. Let's take this off the center. Just take a quick shot at making these things line up like they're supposed to. And yeah, I think we're done. My calendar is fully functional and it works, and I can edit stuff. Is it going to let me edit stuff? Oh, maybe it won't. That's how it's done. Oh, there it goes. I had to double click. Cool.
Yeah, so Thaleen, to answer your question, potentially could create a new database, drop the default calendar in it and use it as is. The answer is yes. What William had to do here is he already had a table called events that he was tracking, start times, end times, title, notes, the whole thing. If he didn't have that and you drug the calendar add-on in, you would simply just use the table that was created by that calendar add-on. But then what you may have to do is, if there's other layouts, like let's say you're on a contact and you're setting up an activity and you're putting a start time, end time, and a date to that activity, but you want it to show up on this calendar, you would then take the calendar table that was created when the calendar add-on was drug in, and you'd point that back to any layouts within your system where you wanted to have any kind of calendaring functionality. So, you know, William, this goes a little bit beyond calendaring too, but this whole add-on thing, I don't know that this seems super cool to me.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like this add-on stuff never really took off. Would you say that's true or false? It feels like, you know, I know when we're doing developing, I don't feel like we're grabbing into these add-ons very much. Are we? I mean, you probably have a better sense of that than I do.
I'm going to say it's more developer taste. I think every developer kind of works a little differently based upon what they understand. In some cases, yeah, I've created plugins that I use, that I've got one, I think, in PFC right now that I currently use. So yeah, there's one out there that I've created that's in use. These add-ons, yeah, I've seen a couple of databases that utilize these calculations. I think the model has changed. You know, technically speaking, the model has changed a little bit from 17 to 19, and it might continue to grow more. But I hope they don't take this thing away, because yeah, I can prepackage large sections that I can import into an existing solution, connect it all up. It's even a way to, I could even see this as a way to migrate sections of an application to another application.
Well, I'm thinking a little bit beyond just. I'm thinking about Mainspring a bit. What do you think? What do you think about the idea of creating these add-ons as like a starter solution for us? So typically, when we get a new client, what do we get? They want companies, contacts, activities, and then something around automating what they do. And if we had these add-ons and we could just drag them in, I get that doesn't make any sense because we would already have the thing built. But let me completely ask you a different question. How do you get more add-ons? Like where is the library of add-ons out there that, you know, you showed us the pane, you showed us the list of add-ons that we can put, you know, currently. Is there a repository of add-ons that's out there somewhere? Is that the Claris Marketplace, or
yeah,
where do you feel like those are?
I haven't explored it recently. The Claris Marketplace is supposed to be your repository that you're thinking about. I believe a lot of people have contributed to that repository. I'm looking for it right now. I just want to bring it up and see it. That's one place to look. They've got a lot of stuff up there. I imagine these are complicated systems that people can download.
On your other screen, because we're not seeing it.
I was just well, I've got a browser full of. I can't actually bring this browser over. Hold on. I don't know if I have a stream-worthy browser at the moment handy.
Gotcha.
Looking around for something without, dialing into my Netflix and whatnot. So not this machine. I'm going to have a lot of garbage I can't get rid of. But yeah, there's a Claris marketplace out there that one can go to.
Well, I can put it in the link when we send out the post meeting email.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see. Claris marketplace. See if I can do it here. There we go. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. And FileMaker's been changing itself around to make this a more prominent thing. No, I think this is getting better. There's a lot of options there.
Yeah, I think those are just the featured. I think there's a ton more out there that is ready to go. That's interesting.
Yeah, that would seem to be a nice little source right there. Add-ons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's quite a bit to explore here.
Yep.
Color swap, easy translate. Yeah, widgets that you can add to your solution. Carry things a little bit farther.
Interesting.
Yeah. Different takes on features that may be valuable to somebody who wants something to work a different way. Date picker. There's always been a date picker, no matter where you look. There's always been some kind of date picker idea that people can add on to. Someone's got a planner, day back calendar. There's a variety of things. Look at this. Another calendar add-on, basic calendar. All the ones that we have in the system are up here too. Bridge Tech Editor. I really want something like this. I really want something like that does HTML.
Now, if you download these, how do you add them so that they show up?
Let's see. I wonder if there's some instructions here, and there often is. There is a folder that you place them into, and I don't have the name of the folder handy.
So you download them and throw them into one of the Claris folders. I bet I'm going to suspect it's called add-ons.
Very likely. There's actually two. There's one that comes with the solution, and there's a personal one that you can add to. So you got to be wise about. And then it's Mac Windows. You got to be wise about what you. It's easy to search out. I just don't have the information handy. But there is a folder that you place that into. And when you restart the application, and once the application loads and that add-on has loaded correctly, it will be available within that object pane and that list of add-ons.
Super cool. All right. Well, yeah, great presentation. It's kind of, some of these topics are short and sweet. There's not a way to draw them out. So we're going to give everybody a half an hour of their lives back. To kind of wrap up, I'm always looking for topics, always looking for things that folks are interested in. This started as a calendar gig, kind of morphed into an add-on, which I think is interesting. But at the end of the day, like I said, we're always looking for topics. And if you can send it to answers@gomainspring.com, we would love to get any ideas that you guys want to cover. But until then, if anybody has any questions, throw in there. And I don't really see much, but we will see you next month in October. So thanks for turning out, and you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thanks, William.